All right, so we're here with my boy Ryan Mikols. You popped up on my YouTube timeline a few months ago, and I started seeing your videos. So for the viewers here, that since you're pretty new to YouTube, if you want to give like a quick breakdown of who you are, what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So basically, I've started drop shipping maybe 8, 9 months ago, and I started my own personal brand with that and kind of documenting everything that I do. And also like I'm more so doing YouTube for like vlogging rather than like sitting down and telling you like, oh, here's the new TikTok ad strategy. I like actually vlogging like my real life. Like most of you guys, like whoever's watching this probably knows me for like my day in the lives.
Yeah.
Like when I do those day in the life videos, it's like it's not, there's no renting cars, like it's not a flashy lifestyle, it's just like authentic, like it's real. And that's what I like really strive to be, because I feel like I now it's like everything is there's lack of authentication, like it's
Yeah.
everything's kind of fake, so that's what I really strive for.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Is like the biggest thing that like popped out to me is like when I saw your YouTube channel is obviously like you're new to drop shipping as far as social media goes, but you're putting up big numbers, which
Yeah.
is not common. So like, what's your history with business? What got you into e-commerce? Is this like your first venture?
Okay, so yeah, basically, first thing that I got into was selling a digital product, e-commerce, but it wasn't drop shipping.
Yeah.
And after, making a decent money from that first little venture, I don't want to go too in depth about it,
Yeah.
but I ended up using that capital to learn drop shipping and kind of learn trial and error. I didn't have a mentor. I thought about paying for mentorship and stuff like that from other, influencers, but I ended up just learning strictly from trial and error. Like I went on to like YouTube, I tested tons of ad strategies, tons of different, like free courses and everything.
Yeah.
And I just ended up figuring out what works for me. And, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. Is there like any specific creators or courses that you use that you think help the most? 'Cause that's like a big thing. Is like there's a lot of poor education in the e-commerce community.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And honestly, like looking back at it now, like from my standpoint, I wouldn't recommend like most of those bigger gurus, like the people like super known who have a lot of like clout to their name. I wouldn't recommend following anything that they teach, because at the end of the day they don't do drop shipping anymore, and maybe they haven't done it for years, and they make all of their money strictly from affiliates. And like they don't know anything what's working with drop shipping nowadays, or anything in that regard. So they're strictly doing it for affiliate purposes.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't honestly recommend anybody. I dropped a video on YouTube. It was like 30 minutes of like me building like my last winning store and everything like that. So that would honestly, like a lot of people have said they found that pretty helpful.
Yeah, because like that's what I was gonna say is especially the bigger YouTubers, like once they start getting clout and blowing up, they stop drop shipping, they switch into courses, because for them that's where the big money's gonna be, obviously. So is that you're against that? You're still doing drop shipping actively?
Yeah, and like not only that, like some people like they don't even do drop shipping. Like they'll have like one store where they run up like 20K and they'll be like, all right, I'm gonna start a course. And after that, they stop drop shipping entirely, and they're just like, all right, I'm gonna sell a course and mentor people on BS information and just take money from people. Like I'm so against that. And when I meet those people in person, they stand out like a sore thumb. Like I could read right through them. Like I could tell, based off of a couple of questions, like, like what's your testing strategy on Meta, blah, blah, blah. Like, how are you scaling? And like, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm like, I don't like those type of people, and I honestly stay away from them.
Because especially like something that I always point out to dropshippers from being in the space for such a long time and knowing all the different influencers, like there's even people that have like black hat strategies. Like they're on YouTube and they're faking their numbers, or they're building courses off results that they scammed people off of, not fulfilling orders, etc. Like, do you have any comments on that or experience with people like faking their numbers for content?
Yeah, like I don't know, actually, let me think. Actually, I don't think I know anybody like personally like that, but I've heard a few stories of people, like they'll do inspect element on like their ads manager, and they'll be like, oh, I had a 4x ROAS here, this and that, and like it's all inspect element, like for YouTube videos, like big creators, from what I've heard. Obviously I'm not gonna name drop people.
I don't want to name drop either, but there's like a couple bigger creators who like post big screenshots and big results, and obviously they sell like a high ticket coaching program. But what I've seen is they get like a script built for them, so they can like have like a mock Shopify dashboard app where they can refresh, etc. But they put whatever numbers they want in it.
Really?
And
I've never heard of that.
It's totally fake.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe that's real.
And it's crazy that they're doing all this effort in building a fake persona so they can just sell a course and start making money off that.
It's ridiculous, honestly. And like I said, I stay away from all those people because I don't want to be seen around them like in that regard.
Yeah. I think it like taints the reputation for a lot of people who are actually drop shipping.
Yeah.
When so many different people are getting scammed and just having terrible experiences with drop shipping, and they're buying mentorships, they're not getting anything out of it, or they're just seeing how easy it is to make money off YouTube videos where people can create a new store and start making $5,000 a day after like a week, but it's just not even real.
It sucks. It really does because it's an image for every creator, like even me, like those people who fake those numbers, and you know, someone who joins their course or their mentorship and they see 0 results from it, it affects my image because it's like I'm in the same industry technically. Like when I do like coaching or mentorship or like my community on the side, like that's never my main source of income. Dropshipping is always my main source of income. And I make the most money with it. And like my community and coaching, like I genuinely do that just as like on the side. Like when you're scaling only one store at a time, like you really don't have to do that much. You make new creatives, you scale budgets throughout the day, and it's like that's all you have to do. And then I have all this extra free time, so I'm like, all right, why don't I share what's working for me to other people in return money?
Exactly. So what kind of numbers are we talking? Drop some sauce for us.
So on my current store last month, I did around 40,000 in profit. So that's just one store alone. And that was like, I think I was shy of 200,000 in rev. So really profitable, like 20% margin, I think it was somewhere around there. And this month I'm dipped a little bit down, like 17% margin. And I think I'm on track for like a 200K month again. So probably like around 35K profit for this month.
That's sick. So 19 years old, $200,000 revenue a month on drop shipping. And you started 9 months ago.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah, so that's crazy. And if people still think that they have to go through like crazy loopholes or trial and error for hundreds of products, you really don't. And clearly you don't need to pay $15,000 for some guru's course. If you just learn from YouTube, trial and error, and then in 9 months you can make 200K a month.
I totally agree. But like, especially with learning trial and error, like my biggest mistake was overspending on ads. Like for some reason I had this mindset or like psychology of where like if I put enough money into this campaign, it's going to turn profitable even while it's running negative. I was like trying to like scale campaigns that were running negative. Like looking back at it now, it's like, why would you do that? But like that was like my mindset as a beginner. Like I didn't have anyone telling me, you know, like don't do this, do this. Like I didn't trust any of those people. Like the same reason like there's people out there faking everything. Like I'm no idiot. I know that's what happens, and that's why I didn't really trust anyone with mentorship or like buying a course or anything like that. That's why I'm like really striving to be that person that someone could like genuinely trust, because like everything I put out there is authentic. Like if I'm like, even like when I'm in community calls, they'll like people ask me like, yo, how's your store doing today? And like I think a couple days ago I was testing a bunch of new creatives and my margin was like maybe like 8%. Yeah. And like that's not good. Like 8% margin, that's like $160 for the day. Yeah. And like I'm just straight up, I could have been like, oh yeah, I'm surfing at a 30K, 10K day right now. Like no, like I'm $160 in profit.
And see, that's what's going to get you farther in the real life, is just being authentic with people. And obviously for your education program or for your future ventures, once people have like that familiarity that you're authentic, it's going to help a lot. Yeah. But being that you've gone through all the trial and error and you've had the mistakes, like what's your roadmap for beginners who want to start drop shipping? Like what steps should they take? What mistakes should they avoid? And like what would you recommend standing on based on like your experience?
Okay. I feel like honestly one of the most important things would be, like, this is my personal opinion. I know a lot of people don't put a lot of time into their websites. They just like kind of like spam test products. Yeah. Like when I test a product, I go into it with like full confidence. Like the product I'm running right now, I spent maybe like 6-7 days working on just the website alone, like photoshopping, like getting renders of the product and everything, like really going with the branded approach immediately, like having a professional like website layout. Yes, I'm still using Shrine, like it's not custom coded, but like the product images, like the content on the website is all super branded. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things, is setting yourself apart from all of the other dropshippers who are just using Shrine with like a basic layout, you know, supplier images just ripped one-to-one straight to their website. Like that's not gonna, like, you look like everyone else trying to run the product. You don't stand out. And also another thing is like your offer. Like that's the one thing that took my first store was actually my first winner, and that was a makeup brush cleaner.
Okay.
And my original offer was just like $50 and free shipping. Like that's not an offer. Like a lot of people don't understand is that, like, especially with today's market, like people almost expect a 50% off discount with free shipping. Like that's almost expected. So having a really good offer is what's going to set you aside and really, you know, get your conversion rate up there. So
just, it's in general making yourself a little bit different than the competition.
Yeah.
And making sure you have a good offer to promote.
Yeah, exactly.
And then do you test, like, primarily, do you use like, do you film ads yourself? Do you use UGC creators?
So my first product, there was like very little content on the makeup brush cleaner. So I ended up ordering that to my house, and I didn't want to spend too much money up front, you know, just testing a product, like ordering UGC right off the bat. I didn't have that much capital for that. So I ended up ordering the product myself, and I'd like go in front of a sink, like with my hands and everything. Like I'd be like using the makeup brush cleaner. Like I was trying to do organic originally, like, because I thought like organic was like the method. Like I thought that was like the way to like make money. But like turns out like I really like paid ads now. Like that's once I found paid ads, especially like running on Meta, that's like been my strong suit ever since. And but now like when I go into a product, like with my the product I'm currently running here, I immediately, before even getting my first sale, I ordered UGC. Like there was no there was like a little bit of content on it, but it wasn't good. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna run the rips content for right now, repurpose it, and then wait for my UGC to get in. And like this store, like immediately it was like a banger, like instantly. Day one testing, I think I did like $250 in rev with like $50 ad budget. Like I was at like a almost 5x ROAS day one. And like when I go into products now testing, like I have 2 more lined up right now. I go into them with full confidence that it is going to work 100%.
Because so that's what I was about to get into, is like, what's your strategy for testing a new product? Like let's say you're starting a new store right now, you have the product, and you want to start testing it to see if it's winning. Like what steps would you take from that?
So normally, you know, I'll build the website obviously, and you got to look for content to run for ads. Like I would never so with running like ads for testing, like a lot of people, like especially like people that I coach, I'll be like, all right, you have to spend $50 a day for 3 days. I don't care. Like, don't cut it short, because day one is inaccurate. Day two is going to be inaccurate. And around day three is when you're finally going to get starting to get like accurate data. Like your metrics will come down a little bit. Maybe your CPMs will come down. But I always tell them, like, you know, look at the total 3-day metrics rather than just looking at day one, day two, or day three. Like look at all 3 days combined and then make your decisions after that. Don't cut it short. That's like the biggest thing that I tell people. Yeah.
So just go through, get a feel for it, start running ads. And do you have like any specific strategies for beginners, or like, because obviously someone jumping into Facebook or TikTok ads, it's like a pretty complicated space. Like, you don't know exactly what to do, but like, should they just go through, let everything like filter automatically?
I wouldn't say automatically, but testing broad over interest testing with Meta, I've noticed works way better. Like I'll have like split tests where like I'm testing interest and then having broad, and then broad will always outperform interest in the long run. That's what I've noticed. Like they're longer lasting campaigns from what I've noticed, and also more profitable as well. So like going with a more broad approach is definitely the best way to go. I'd stay away from like the Advantage Plus shopping campaigns and like Advantage Plus audience until I actually have data on my customers. Like if I have like a fresh pixel, no data, nothing, like I'll always test broad.
Okay. And then you'll start dialing it in later once you have a pretty seasoned pixel? Yeah,
once I have my like winning creatives, you know, pixel data, that's when I'll start running those ASCs.
Okay, that's sick. And then do you usually do like the classic, you run like a CBO on your campaigns?
Yeah, CBO with dynamic creative.
Awesome.
I know dynamic creative is going away. I think it's being switched to flexible or something like that.
Yeah, that's sick. And then on moving into fulfillment side, like what's your experience with fulfillment suppliers, like using either AliExpress, Zendrop, or whatever you've used in the past or use currently?
Yeah, so I actually, my first supplier, like I've always was like, this was actually the biggest thing when I was first starting out. I was so confused on like, how do I get a supplier? How do I get this private agent supplier from China? I was like, I need it. Like, what's the secret sauce?
Yeah.
Like, I was paying for courses, hoping to get that out of those courses. And I never actually got them. But like, the truth is, like, I've tried like other 3PL services. My first attempt was actually AutoDS, and that was quite honestly horrible. Like this is like full transparency. Like, customer support was really bad for one. Like, it took me like 5 days to get an answer to one thing.
Wow.
Like, on top of that, like, I got put on a Shopify reserve. For those of you who are watching this and don't know what a reserve is, it's where they hold 20% or even sometimes more of your revenue. You know, that happens to be your profit margin most of the time. And I actually got a reserve because AutoDS was not fulfilling my orders.
Really?
So like, I had orders like unfulfilled for like 20 days. I mean, maybe I had something set up improperly, but like, I thought I had everything linked correctly and everything, but nothing was being fulfilled. So I got put onto a reserve. And after I got put on that reserve, I was like, you know what, I'm switching. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this has been terrible, bad customer support and everything. So then my next, you know, try was Zendrop. And I started off as their normal like plus subscriber, and now I'm in their, you know, private agent program, and it's so good. Like, it's honestly insane. Even for like just the plus program, like, customer support's always going to be there. They have the live chat option. You could always get in contact with an agent, and like, these agents, like, they know what they're talking about. They're not just someone to like redirect you to like some forum to read, and like, they'll actually help you out one-on-one. And that was like the biggest thing that made me really like Zendrop, is their customer support and how responsive they were. And now being in the Select program, like, all of my sourcing prices too are extremely cheap. Like if I were to go on AutoDS and look at their catalog and try to get a product sourced, it would be outrageously high, because basically, from my knowledge, is that AutoDS is like a middleman to the manufacturer. So it's like AutoDS, middleman, and then,
They go from AliExpress usually.
Yeah, they go from AliExpress. So it's like middleman and then manufacturer. So like with Zendrop, it's Zendrop manufacturer.
Yeah.
So there's no middleman in between them. And honestly, like, I've had really good sourcing prices, like I said, on all of my products. I mean, I've had one here or there that it's like a little bit more higher than I wanted. But as you scale, you know, you get those volume discounts. Like, I could reach out to them and be like, hey, can we negotiate the pricing? And then like, boom, we get it dropped. Like, and also on top of that, you know, there's branding. Like, my current product I'm running right now, getting the brand logo on the product and becoming a lot more branded now that I'm doing consistent months. So that's another benefit to being inside of there. And another thing is, like, whenever, like, you could even bring in, like, this is something new I just found out actually, is that like, if you have a customer support VA, you could actually add them into the WhatsApp chat with like 10 other Zendrop employees. And like, I don't even touch customer support anymore. I don't manage orders, nothing. Like, everything is managed by my VA. He communicates with Zendrop, and order issues are all, you know, out of my hands now. So I could focus more on scaling, creatives, just everything.
That's sick. So yeah, once you got into like the private agent program, did you notice like a significant price decrease in your supply and products?
Absolutely. And I believe is it 10 orders a day is when you get in? I don't know what it is. I think so. Something like that. But that is definitely, you know, it's been amazing inside of the, like, I'm not even like, you know, saying that just because I'm an affiliate with them. Like, I genuinely like started without a personal brand, nothing. And I went through like being a plus subscriber, like paying for Zendrop, and, you know, turning into an affiliate, which is amazing. Like, I still use them to fulfill all my orders. I don't work with another supplier, different agent or anything like that. I use them to still fulfill my orders. So, and like, whenever I promote anything, it's like, if I genuinely like use it or I see good out of it. Like, I've had, you know, other, you know, programs like viral ecom ads and shit reach out to me, and they're like, yo, let us sponsor you. And like, I don't like their work. Like, I don't see their work. Like, you know, I don't like it. So I'm not going to promote it to like my community or anybody who follows me.
Exactly. And then like, speaking back on that, a lot of people think like suppliers like AutoDS or Zendrop are like beginner based and just used to like start a store, not really scale. But as someone who's doing 200K revenue a month, you still use Zendrop to fulfill all your orders.
Right, because it's technically like working with a private agent. There's really no difference. And on top of that, like, if you're working with a private agent, the trust isn't necessarily there. I've heard horror stories of people with like 10K orders, like their private agent like scamming them out of those orders. Like, imagine like you have 10,000 orders and your private agent's like shipping out like fake packages or like taking an extra profit from you behind your back, and you don't know that until like 10,000 orders go by and you're like, shit, now I have 10,000 angry customers with a defective product. Now what? Like with Zendrop, it's like you won't run into that because it's a genuine company. Like it's not some random person from China that you're sending 5K through wire every single week.
Exactly.
So that's another reason why I like Zendrop, is that the trust is there, and I like the team members as well. Like everyone on the team is super sick.
Yeah, and you can see yourself scaling through Zendrop and getting to $1 million plus a month and still using the same private agent
Absolutely.
program.
I have literally zero complaints, honestly.
That's awesome. Because that's the thing I was going to get into, because a lot of people are hesitant on starting drop shipping because of all the black hat stuff going on, because all the shady influencers, the shady suppliers who are giving you bad deals, not shipping your orders. But in your opinion, since you started relatively recently, do you still think people can start drop shipping in 2024, especially with all the negative around the space?
Absolutely. I feel like the biggest thing, we talked about earlier, is setting yourself like aside from other people, like being different with your stores, with your offers. That's like the biggest thing. Like you could make, I'm like no exaggeration, any product sell if you have a good offer, a good website, and good creatives. Like it's simple as that. Like any product.
Yeah, because then the biggest thing that I've seen, especially from like beginners who've contacted me or people I've tried to help, is they'll try to sell something like one that's already super saturated, and they just run ads that are already out there. They just rip content and post it again, and they're not able to get sales because either they don't have a good offer, they don't have a good website or creatives. You think it just comes down to those three things? Yeah,
honestly. And also, I mean, obviously the product does matter a little bit. You don't want to sell some like gimmicky gadget that like cleans lint off you. I know that's big right now, like some stupid shit like that. Like you need like my criteria to finding products is you want to find a problem solving product that is worth paying for. Everybody says find a problem solving product. There's so many out there, but there's very few that are worth paying for. Like very few. And that's what I feel like a lot of people don't get told, is that you need to find a product that's worth paying for.
What's your description on like worth paying for?
So for instance, like I'll bring up my makeup brush cleaner that I ran in the past. It was so like if you're not familiar with cleaning makeup brushes, you have to scrub each one in your hand against like a pad, each individual brush. And instead, it's a little device, and you put the lid on with like up to 20 makeup brushes in it. You put the lid on, put a little soap in there, and then turn it on, and your brushes come out clean within like 3 minutes of running it. That's time saved, like almost like 45 minutes to an hour. And on top of that, like you have to come up with good pricing points. Like I was selling, my offer was the makeup brush cleaner plus a set of 13 makeup brushes for $30. Like that sounds like a no-brainer to purchase. Like if you if you leave the website without purchasing, you feel stupid, because that set of makeup brushes, that perceived value is like $20. The makeup brush cleaner, its perceived value maybe like $40-$50. And I'm selling both of those for $30. So if anyone leaves the website, they feel dumb without purchasing. That's why my conversion rate on some days, like while scaling, was like 7%.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why that ties into like what you said, having a good offer is what sets you apart from everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Convinces people to sell. And especially if you're doing those on ads, like your creatives, are you using still like the TikTok kind of format or like images? Because I know that's a big debate.
So you could run image ads if your product is like, you could understand what it does based off that image. But if it's a product where like it has there's a function, like different functions to it, then video ads will work better, obviously, because you know it's, you know, you could actually see what it does rather than just the image. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly. And then since we're talking about like the success of beginners and how you can still start in 2024, people, I feel like every year are talking about ecom saturated, dropshipping is dead. Do you still see a future in dropshipping?
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't see it going away anytime soon. Like I feel like, I mean, even ask yourself, anyone who's watching this, like, would you rather go into a store, drive to a store, go into a store and find out something that you want to buy, or like just you're scrolling on Instagram Reels and you're like, oh, this looks cool, I'll just buy it. Like most people shop online nowadays, especially like even for clothes, even groceries. Like people are ordering groceries off of Amazon, which is insane. So I don't see it going any
yeah, I agree with you. And like, how do you match your competition? How do you compete with like the new people in the industry, like TikTok Shop, like where it's so easy to buy, people can just scroll and purchase on app, but like what's your new strategy for keeping people like off platform?
So I feel like even with TikTok Shop, it's honestly kind of difficult because even with when I was doing TikTok ads, once TikTok Shop came out, like TikTok ads, like the performance was a lot worse. And I feel like most people who are running products on, TikTok can relate to that. That's why I mainly strictly do Meta only.
Yeah.
Like Meta is just like what I like to use. Like you got Instagram and Facebook. You have two different audiences. You have older people on Facebook and then younger people on Instagram. So you're not really losing that young audience from like TikTok. Yeah, you're maybe like TikTok is obviously more for like people who are younger and it's easier to capture that sale. Honestly, it's not too big of a deal. You just again have to have that good offer, like with the makeup brush set. Like you're not getting that when you go to Amazon to buy the makeup brush cleaner.
Exactly. Like it's still about the offer at that point. Another thing that I think, like you said, you keep the audiences, you might lose a little bit from TikTok, but with Zendrop, if you're already using them to fulfill your orders on your drop shipping stores, in a few weeks time, they're actually pumping out the TikTok Shop integration. Okay. So then you can still sell your same product, get it imported from them, and they'll handle the entire TikTok Shop operation. So you can still run your same ads on TikTok, except instead of your store, you can run it to a TikTok Shop product and then also have that avenue. So that's why I feel like if the customers or the sellers are already using Zendrop to fulfill their orders, it'll be pretty easy to go ahead and navigate over to TikTok Shop in the future.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah. Because I see a pretty huge market in TikTok Shop that's like hard to beat. Like
it's huge because like all of the product costs and everything, like people go on TikTok Shop and they have all these coupons and everything. Like you could buy something for like $2 and like they'll charge you like $7 in shipping, and it feels like the customer, they think they're getting such a good deal, like they're paying $7 for shipping. So
exactly,
like I feel like it's a lot easier to sell it to someone on TikTok Shop.
And like speaking of TikTok Shop, I know the best products on TikTok that people buy are like cheap products. Like they're like, this product costs less than like a McDonald's meal. This product's like $2-3. What's like your preferred price range for products to drop ship? Because I know some people like doing high ticket, some people like doing like free plus shipping. It just depends.
So it really depends on the perceived value of the product. I think that's the biggest thing, and a lot of people don't look at that. Like the current product I'm selling right now is $100. Like my AOV is like $105 right now, and like the makeup brush cleaner, I was selling that for like my AOV was $40, and it was a $30 product. So it really comes down to the product you're running and what kind of perceived value it has. That's the way I look at it. This is my first high ticket drop shipping store. I mean, $100 isn't like $1,000 order, but it's still high ticket in my opinion. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously you're gonna have a lower conversion rate with a higher ticket product because it's like the customer has to impulsively spend $100 versus $30. Like they have to think about it a little bit more. Maybe they'll go to Amazon. Maybe they'll look at their other options instead of just purchasing right off the rip. But definitely it's easier to sell to someone on like a $30 product.
Yeah, and then obviously you're having a cheaper product. So what's your status on like a one product store versus a niche or general store? You're usually sticking with one product?
So with testing, I like doing a one product store test. Like you don't want to be like testing like 10 different products at a time. Like you're juggling too many things at once. And then like when you start to scale, like what I'm doing now is like I just found a new product that's kind of untapped. Like it's there's no no video ads on it, just image ads. And I ran an image ad test and I was like break even. And this is like I'm selling to an unaware, like no one knows about this product. They don't understand the functionality of it. And I'm running strictly image ads and I ran break even. So that right there is a green flag for me. If I get video ads of someone explaining what this product is, it's going to print. Yeah. So now I've added that product onto my current store as like another, like in the collection of products. So that way I'm going to start branding out the store to sell like tons of products in this niche and just test one by one on the store.
So both products are in the same niche. So you're kind of running like not a general store, but a niche store. That's just like a brand. That has multiple
it's just a niche
products.
store. Like every like products that relate to like what I'm selling right now. Like that's what I'll add into there. Like say if you're selling like red light therapy, like a red light therapy like wand, like people have seen that product. Like maybe add like a red light therapy mask. Say if that worked.
See, that's like I've told so many different people who want to start drop shipping, because the biggest mistake I see when people are starting stores is they won't do like a one product store or a niche store. They'll start like a general like gadget store, or they'll sell like I can't even tell you, just the most random products.
That
like,
just won't work now.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't work.
Like even if you're doing, people aren't just going to go to a store and pick out what product they want. I feel like if you want to make money, you have to build like a legit brand. And, like,
I 100%
spend
agree.
time.
You have to brand yourself.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. But that's pretty much all I wanted to go over. Do you have any final thoughts or final sauce you want to drop for those viewers?
Dude, honestly, like it's drop shipping. You can't give up, like especially in the early time. You got to keep pushing. Like my first 3 months of drop shipping was unprofitable. Like and like I was maybe down like 8K, 10K.
Yeah.
I was in the hole. Like, and I didn't give up. I was so close to, like, I even have videos of me like talking about like I think I'm gonna quit tomorrow. Like I think I'm done with this and like move on to the next thing. But like you have to be able to push through those first couple months, maybe weeks, if you're lucky, to push through those and like keep working without having results in your face. Like the results will come. It's just they're not instant. So you just have to keep pushing through those times and you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, because that's something I was actually talking about with our friend Ben about drop shipping. Is a good analogy he gave me is like drop shipping is like playing the lottery. Like every time you every time you test a new product, it's like you're buying a lottery ticket. But if you're playing the lottery, you have the same odds of winning every single time. Like it's always low. But with drop shipping, every time you test a new product, you get better at the lottery.
Yeah,
and so you just get better.
I agree with that.
And then eventually something's going to hit because you're going to keep learning and it's impossible to lose like indefinitely. Thank you for hopping on, bro. It's been a good episode.
Of course.
And we'll definitely do a part 2 sometime once we're hitting that 1 million a month.
For sure.
Let's see.